Hi guys, I just want to share a little something with you today. So I had one of my patients call me and she's really distraught. She's like, this whole quarantine thing, I've gained weight. Like everything you said to me, it's like, I don't know, it's like I got to keep your message in my head, but I don't know what's going on. It's like I'm eating everything in sight. Okay, so I thought, you know what, we need to have some intervention here because the whole idea is that we need to be getting on board. And this is what I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to talk about this whole buy-in, how we're going to really work on this paradigm shift that's got to go on in your head. So the one I'm talking about, which some of you know all about if you've been a patient of mine, because I talk about it all the time, some of you guys are going to go, what is she talking about? But I'm bringing it to the table now. We're going to talk about it. So we got this little triangle thing going on, right? And we've got the fleshy cage you live in. So this is your flesh. This is the body you've been dumped in when you got on planet Earth. And then we got the brain. This is hopefully working at full capacity. Maybe not for some people, but we like to think it is. And then you got the you, right? This is that inner self. Maybe it's the consciousness, the person that, pretty much knows right from wrong. The fleshy cage, the flesh, the thing that you arrived in, the thing that you're living in, this is what's responding to food. It's all about survival. I mean, it's all about, feel good. In fact, this guy here, the little good guy, this is the guy, by the way, that usually comes to see me and says, I really got to do something about my health. I got to do something about my weight. And, I'm going to use this guy here to help me. But this guy's just out of control. And, I really need to get some help. All right, I get that. But then somewhere when they go home or the next week, this guy seems to take control, the fleshy cage. And this is how it works. It's always going to be the case. You are always going to have a yin and a yang, always. And brain can't depend on brain. This guy here jumps ship to who's ever stronger at the moment. Plays tapes you don't need to keep hearing. Okay, brain is great for logic, right? So you can read stuff, you can logically deduct. Okay, great, love it. But it also does this repeat and go stuff. You got to let go of that. So this fleshy cage is what's going on. Because what happens is when we get more, in a fearful situation or, even happy situation, some emotions coming of stress or whatever, this guy jumps on board because that's what survival is. The flesh is designed to survive and it's designed to just take charge when things get a little shaky. So what happens is maybe for some people it's a little shaky right now or even just boredom. And all of a sudden, fleshy cage is like, man, that looks great. I want to do that. That tastes great. I remember that's going to make me feel good. This is all about entertainment food, not real food, because this guy knows the difference and this guy knows the difference too, but not being much help because I told you, this guy jumped ship to who's in charge at the moment. So what's the advice I told my patient is I said, look, you got to bring this guy up. And the only way I know to do that is work like a charm is discipline. You got to have some discipline. And the reason I say discipline is because the fleshy cage hates discipline. It's all about selfishness. It's about survival, path of least resistance. This guy here is selfless. It's all about others. This is like the beautiful part of you, right? And so the world's all catering to this guy and you're trying to have this guy jump up and help you. This is the guy that's going to get you to eat right. This is the guy that's like, yeah, I know I need to exercise. I need to do all these things. This guy here, the fleshy, relax. You don't need to do anything. Take it easy, take it easy. But here is the killer. This is the killer. Discipline. The problem with discipline, what comes before discipline, is buy-in. And let me explain to you about buy-in. And this is just like a Myrnaism. This is just what I've learned because I've had this problem since the day I was born, right? And this is how I've really gotten a hold of it, is that buy-in is where you just tell your flesh, and listen, it believes it every time. It's amazing. I'm 6 years old. It believed it at 20, believed it at 30, 40, still believing it. It's not really that smart. Is you tell it, look, I'm only going to ask you to do 10 to 15 minute buy-in. That's it. I'm not asking you to actually go out and work out for 35, 40 minutes, an hour. I'm just going to ask you to do it 10 minutes, just buy-in, just a little bit of buy-in. Or I'm just going to get to where I need to get to turn on the video or do whatever. So you do a little bit of buy-in, 10 minutes, because this guy can deal with 10 minutes. And then what happens, what you're really bringing, is a little bit of discipline to the table. And then what happens is it takes over. This guy's like, oh man, I got a little teeth in the game now. I can just latch on. And next thing you know, you only said I was going to do 10-minute buy-in. Next thing you know, you get past that warm-up in that workout, or you get past where you actually went and bought the good food and started preparing it. And next thing you know, you're in it. There's total buy-in. You're like doing the whole workout once you got past the 10 minutes. Next thing you know, you bought the healthy food. You started preparing it because you said, I'm only going to do 10 minutes of this. And then all of a sudden, you're really making it special, adding some spices because you got past the buy-in. So the number one thing is, you know what? Remember this is going on. Remember the fleshy cages. You wouldn't even be friends with this guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you wouldn't even want to be around him. But you're sewn to him. You have no choice. So you got to kind of deal with that. But remember, the way you really grab a hold, the way this guy services, is you got to bring in discipline. Guy hates discipline. Total flesh hates discipline. And the only way you can bring discipline in is you got to bargain with buy-in. Bring buy-in, and then discipline will take hold. Okay, that's it for today. And also I want to give a little bit of words of wisdom. I tried to cut my own hair today, and if you leave with one thing, I wouldn't do it. I would hold out on that.